いつも君と
Hey, that actually came out pretty all right, don't you think?
We've reached our destination.
I wonder if something happened. Wow! Thank you. What? Great!
Yeah.
Wow!
wish I could get an examination.
Well, if you say so. Let me see, yes, you're in well, alright?
If only your brain could keep up with your mouth.
We've reached our destination.
Wouldn't it be easier to simply use astral arts to catch the fish and be done with it?
That misses the whole point of going out to fish.
I hope we catch something decent.
Indeed. Hungry bellies are counting on this.
All right.
That's not a fish I see often.
I don't recognize that fish. Is it okay to eat? I hope we catch something decent.
Indeed. Hungry bellies are counting on this. Ha!
All right.
Anybody could reel in that.
That went pretty well.
There's a nice breeze here.
Yeah. All right.
I'll let you go this time.
Ha!
Reel it in. Gotta know when to quit.
Looks like it was well worth coming out here to the ocean to fish, judging by your haul.
Yeah, I can't complain with a catch like this. Dinner tonight's going to be a real good one.
Hell yeah!
What do you care? You're always happy as long as you're full.
Not always. I mean, okay, yeah, sure. Having a full stomach is close to the maximum amount of happy I can be. But Kisara's cooking is just so amazing. Even you can't deny that.
Well, sorry for not being able to cook as good as her then.
What? That's not what I said at all.
Anyway, what are you planning to do with that fish? Grill it? Turn it into a sashimi? Personally, my vote's for something Kisara?
Sorry. Can you, not talk to me? Right now?
Hey, are you alright? Your face is as white as a ghost.
It might be more accurate to say green.
What happened? She was doing okay until just a few seconds ago.
Actually, I think I remember her mentioning at one point that she felt pretty seasick. But we've been out here for a while now. Maybe it doesn't hit her when she's concentrating on something.
I think that means yes?
I'm sorry. I've never seen anyone look so ill before.
Don't worry about dinner right now. You just get some rest, okay?
Looks like we made it here in one piece.
Oh, just one thing after another, and it all falls on my head too.
Hey, Nath.
What? Can't you see I'm... Alphen?
Looks like you have your hands full.
As much as ever. As if I wasn't busy enough putting down the last remnants of Renan rule, I'm up to my ears in Dahnan disputes. And then, to top it all off, that thing had to come crashing down from out of the sky.
Pretty sure we've heard this somewhere before.
But enough about my problems. What can I help you with?
Yeah, we're looking for an old Renan starship. You wouldn't happen to know any around these parts, would you?
A starship? What do you need one of those for?
To get to Lenegis.
Lenegis? Are you out of your damn mind?
Believe it or not, it wouldn't be the craziest thing we've done recently.
Oh, I believe it. Well, either way, I'm afraid I haven't heard anything about a starship.
Then do you have any historical records by chance?
Sure, we've got stacks of old records.
Mind if we take a look at them?
Yeah, okay.
Thanks, Nath.
I read through all of the records, but I only found a single line that might point to what we're looking for. It mentions a rock that shot across the sky and landed past the mountains. The event was recorded just before the first Renan invasion.
And you think that might be the starship?
I don't know. There was nothing else in the records that came even close. It looked like it was someplace called Berg, but maybe I'm reading it wrong.
Berg?
That ring any bells for you?
Yeah, that's one of the biggest volcanoes in Calaglia. I was just there recently, investigating a report of a meteor someone saw.
Another meteor in the same area? Really?
I wonder if it could have been one of those lights that shot out of the wedge.
All the more reason to check it out. Can you tell us how to get there?
The old Zion mine is up that way. One of the veins we abandoned connects to the volcano. Go ahead and use that. But you should be careful.
Huh?
I don't know if it has anything to do with the meteor. But there's a giant Zoogle running riot in there. Never seen anything like it.
A Zoogle, huh?
Well, I turned back as soon as I caught sight of the thing, so I can't tell you much more. Just be real careful if you head out that way.
All right.
I guess...
Right.
I didn't like the sound of that monster Nath was talking about one bit.
Well, we have to press on. We're going through Zion Mine to Berg Volcano. Let's move.
Everything okay with Hootle, Rinwell? He seems kinda out of spirits.
It must be the heat getting to him. We don't get these kind of temperatures back in Cyslodia.
Galaglians born and raised here struggle with it too, so it's no surprise.
Aha! So that's why his plumage is so white. He was born in a winter wonderland.
Actually, Dan and owls absorb the astral energy of whatever land they're raised in. Where they're born doesn't affect their appearance at all. But that's not why he's white. The real reason is that he's still just a baby.
You mean their plumage changes color depending on where they grow up? Weird.
And with all this traveling we've been doing, it wouldn't surprise me if his wings ended up looking like a colorful painting.
I think he suits his snowy complexion. It'll feel strange to see him change.
How awesome would it be if his head and wings were different colors, and his stomach and sides, like a map of our travels? Ow, lay off, will ya? So much for the heat making him docile.
You've only yourself to blame for that one. Hootle takes pride in his appearance, you know.
Fascinating. An appreciation of aesthetic beauty in an owlet so young.
Dohalim, I think you've drawn his attention. We should be able to cook here.
I wonder if you're as soft as you look.
Mind if I join you, Law? Hey, Law, about what you said before.
When?
You were telling me how there were things you wished you could have asked your dad. If you want, you can always come to me with your questions.
What brought this on all of a sudden? Don't I already lean on you enough as it is?
Still, there's plenty you would want to ask him if he was still alive, right?
I mean, yeah, but I think you'll have a hard time answering any of them, if I'm being honest.
How come?
I mean, the stuff I want to ask him about is, like, how he met my mom and how he won her over. Stuff like that. Anyway, not really something you can help with, right?
You're right. Sorry, Law. I can't even begin to imagine how to help with that.
You're telling me. I just wish there was someone experienced I could ask about this kind of stuff.
Yeah, he was definitely that.
Let's make sure to kick ass tomorrow, too. I feel pretty refreshed after that sleep.
It's quite hot here. The climate feels different from Menancia's.
It's gotten much cooler since leaving town, though.
Does that mean eyes were burning holes in us?
Something feels odd here. Be on your guard.
So we're back in the Zion Mine tunnels. Who would have thought we'd be going through this place again? This is where you and I first fought together.
And also the first time we touched, as I recall.
Wait, really?
Yes, really.
So this path is supposed to take us out to Berg Volcano?
We're not gonna see any lava burst out in front of us or anything, are we?
Don't get so paranoid you let a rock fall on your head, Law. So hot.
Well, yeah. We've reached the inner portion of Berg Volcano.
We need to find that starship. And fast!
Right, here goes! Now or never.
Take this!
Raging
still.
Cascade!
Take
Seal,
this!
Luna,
I'll
Eruption!
smash you!
It's a duel of the arts!
There!
Dance in the wind!
I'm
Take this!
Pesky airborne scoundrel.
Sounds like a
Please
job
honor
for
your
you.
art through me!
Soaring light spear!
No
Ready to
complaints
go.
here!
Water, hear my
Here I
call!
come.
Get on in there with the
Power
red!
hurricane!
Vacuum blade!
Here's evil!
I'm
Raging sword!
denied!
Lightning thrust! Lewis! Luna Rondo!
By the
Take
power
this.
of water! Not in your dreams!
Right.
Do it!
Stand
Raging
off!
Cascade!
Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade!
I wonder if we can make new weapons with this.
Gotta break through! Vacuum blade!
Illuminate the dark! Come forward with annihilation!
Are those rocks
Dance
now
in the
we're in?
burning strike!
No
You got
further.
company.
Glacial
Not
Spear.
done!
Here's evil!
No armor!
Stop me!
Remind me to stay on your good side.
Dance in the wind! Air
Here I
rock!
come. Take this! I'll smash you!
Vacuum blade!
Healing circle!
The enemy hears art too.
We'll soon see about that!
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw! Dragon shout!
Do it!
Careful, Xion!
Get toasty!
Burn strike!
Right, next one.
Now!
Here's the burn!
Already
This
on!
one's mine.
There!
I'll end you!
Vacuum
Seal,
blade!
heal
You picked the wrong fight!
Thanks, Xion.
Be careful not to overdo it.
Now!
Oh, now... Hey!
Blow them away!
Now! Flame of
Here I
fury!
come!
Crumble! Burning strike! Glacial spear! Pierce evil! Oh, violent
Can't get out of this!
Freeze Lancer!
Vacuum blade! Shadow! Soaring light spear! Take this!
Lunar
No
corruption!
escape!
Lunar blast! Raging storm!
You're
More
mine!
where that came from!
Vacuum blade!
Talon
Celestial
Hurricane!
hammer!
Check out these biceps. Pretty glorious, right?
Why are guys so obsessed with their muscles?
Because these puppies have yet to let me down.
The design of this equipment is... It's really interesting.
You must really like it, Alphen.
Huh.
Let the
Here goes!
marksman handle this. One
No
more.
escape!
Watch it!
Megasonic thrust!
Tear you apart!
Lightning away my head.
If it curls up, to be time to get out of the way.
Pierce evil. Dance in the wind. In here.
All good
A
things
charge like
come
that
to an
could
end.
easily be fatal.
Now,
Just as well, I'm here
Mighty
to stop.
Hunter, astral energy.
Say no more! Got it!
Well done.
My turn!
Annihilation.
Not today! I'll pick you all up! Vacuum blade!
It's time. Now I'm in the
No further!
Now I'm in trouble.
Be still!
really owe you
Soaring
one.
light spear! Hurricane thrust!
That
Here
hit
is
fun.
Flame of Fury. Burning strike. Glacial spear. Pierce evil.
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw! Eat this! Here I go! Talon Hurricane! Do it!
Lightning
Lightning
Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade!
See that?
That training's paying off!
Do it!
Law.
Demon's Descent! Flashing Fang! Hold up. Is this as valuable as I think it is?
You can make plants grow instantly? What if we use this for fruits and vegetables?
I'd rather not be our party's fertilizer. Thank you very much.
No escape! You're finished!
I'll crash you!
Dance!
Lightning.
Be still! Soaring light
I'm like
spear!
bait to them.
Take this! Strike!
Sleep now.
Lunar Rondo! You got fire!
I've got
I'm
this.
not done!
Let a marksman handle it.
All yours!
Flame of Fury. Burning. Not on my watch.
I'm on it. I'll run you through. Watch it.
Prepare to be sealed!
I never miss.
Vacuum blade!
Freeze Lancer. Dance in the wind.
Take
Air
it!
thrust.
Do it!
Doubling.
Light burst forth!
Radiant Genesis. Here I go. I'm only getting
You're
started.
mine!
Eat this.
I'm not done!
Power of
Punch.
Be still!
Dance in
Soaring
the
light
wind.
spear!
Law. Get toasty.
Burn strike.
Hey, Poodle's quivering. I think we're about to be real lucky. face is starting to sting, and my throat feels super parched.
Here, have some water. Just make sure you don't drink too much.
Thanks.
You want some too, Xion? Oh, wait. I bet you're hungry more than anything, aren't you?
I'm fine, thank you very much.
Hey, what do you say we fight that shining enemy?
An opponent like this should be easy. Vacuum blip!
No further!
Into the shadows!
There!
Tempest Whirl! Mega
No!
Ray!
Come and face me! Here I
You
come!
have to aim for the bright area on their back.
I'll run you through!
Here, let me have it. Go for the weak point.
Thanks,
I'll stop its charge.
Thanks, Kisara.
An astral art?
That's my cue.
Vacuum blade! Shut him down!
Evil.
Dragon shell!
Freeze laser.
Here like this!
Malevolent.
Vacuum
Do
blade!
it.
Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade!
See that?
That training's paying off!
Now you see what I can do!
No escape!
First aid.
I really owe you one.
There!
I'll finish you here
Eat
and now!
Vacuum blade!
Demon's Descent! Flashing Fang!
No!
It's almost too strong.
Split it open!
Be my guest!
Lunar
Take this!
Do it!
You're mine!
Go for it!
Prepare to crumble!
Here, let me help.
Mind if I do?
Talon
Here I
Hurricane!
come!
In the wind!
Vacuum blade!
In here!
There!
Gemini Alpha!
Back!
Take this!
Mega Ray!
Strut!
Talon Hurricane!
Purge Malevolent!
Inferno
Mega
Punch!
Disrupt!
Gemini Alpha! Too much to handle? Here!
The armor won't save you!
Field!
Take this!
Do it!
River!
Astral Energy!
Say no more! That astral energy was incredible!
I gave it everything I had.
And here I am.
Out of our way.
Here I come!
They're
No
surrounding us.
escape!
This
Here I call.
Light!
Where are you going?
Vacuum blade!
flying
never
freak!
miss.
Why can't they just sit still?
Sia, can you take care of them?
No sooner said than done. Dance in the wind.
I'm not done!
Do you require a hand? Can't get out of this!
I'm not done!
Anything in armor is all
We
right.
barely managed to turn that battle.
You don't need to sound surprised.
Doubling.
Light burst forth!
Radiant Citizen.
I'm on it.
Searing Flame. Reload.
I'll smash you!
Raging Cascade.
Eat this!
Death.
I'll put you through!
Vacuum blade!
Magic is there. Do it. In here. Astral Energy.
Say no more! Got it!
Well done. Raging Storm.
Pierce!
Blade Laser.
Vacuum blade!
Ice Prison.
Do it!
Am I on a roll or what?
Well, look who's in a bright...
This bridge will hold itself together, right?
Most definitely. Though I won't make any promises.
Which one is it?
It's crazy to see rocks melt before our eyes.
Watch where you're going, everyone. If you fall, there will be nothing left of you.
Exactly. So don't try anything funny. Especially you, Law. No pushing anyone, not even as a joke.
I'm not a little kid!
Callous. Calcified. Calaglia.
What kind of poem is that?
A sparse one.
Go no further.
No escape! Vacuum blade! Come one, come all!
If it's in the sky, it's on. This one's their hide as thick as armor. Illuminate the land. Come
Soaring
lightning.
light spear.
Holy land.
Super swallow dance!
I'll stop your movement!
And I'll stop your life!
Now! Soaring light! My turn!
Swallow
Soaring
dance!
light spear!
This one keeps
Charging us!
So much for
That's
sitting
what my
this fight
shield's
out.
for.
That wouldn't
Get
be a
behind me.
complaint, I
Got it.
hear.
No,
Leave it
that
to
is
you.
silly.
You're mine! There!
I'm on it.
No escape! Hurricane thrust!
I'll smash it! I'll finish this
Soaring
right
light
now!
spear!
Water, hear my call. Sleep now. This'll come in handy.
Megasonic thrust! Be still! Vacuum blade!
Let's go.
You're mine!
Super swallow
No
dance!
escape!
Razor Cyclone.
These fists have got your name on them! Eat this!
Take this!
Eagle Ride!
Be still! Lunar Rongo! Take this!
Do it. Doubling.
Light burst forth!
Radiant Citizen. Searing Flame. Arcade Waterfall.
Eagle
Do it.
Ride!
No escape!
I'll finish Demon's Descent! Flashing Fang! All aboard the victory train!
Overconfidence can bite you in the butt.
Let's dispose of the trash.
You're mine! Cat! First strike! There!
Lightning Orb. Mega Ray. Deliver this! In here!
Here I come!
Gemini
Vacuum
Ultra!
blade!
By the power of water!
Dazzle!
Can't get out of this!
Gemini Ultra! Astral energy! More where that came
You're
from!
mine! Vacuum blade!
Armor won't save you!
Now!
Eat this!
Demon's Descent!
Flashing Fang!
Way to go!
Soaring light spear!
Now!
Here!
Demon's Descent!
Flashing Fang!
Merit Flame!
Eat this!
Reload!
I'll run you
Nothing
through!
gets
Now
by
I'm
me.
in the groove!
Megasonic thrust!
Whoa!
Lightning thrust!
Ice!
First strike!
Do it!
I'll run you through!
Gasoline!
Light burst forth!
Radiant Denison!
I can feel my precision improving. We should think about eating soon.
Really? Not all that hungry myself.
Don't make me say it again.
Yeah, good idea.
Ow!
Hear me! Flame of Fury!
Strike!
Water, hear my call! Raging Storm! Flood! Hear me! Flame of Fury!
surrounded!
Tempest Storm! Celestial
Aim
Hammer!
for the weak spot!
Ice Prison!
Megasonic thrust!
Love
Take
here!
this!
Graviton Field!
I'll
This
finish
one's
you here
mine!
and now!
Can't get
in
out
the
of
wind.
this!
No
Air
escape!
Thrust! Radiant
All
Wall!
dead! Be still!
Here's a
Soaring
Holy
Light Spear.
Lance!
Okay,
Holy
here I
Cloud!
go.
Holy Lance!
Take
Into
this.
the shadows!
Now you see what I can
Vacuum
do!
blade!
Mega Ray! Lightning Condemned!
Burn in hell!
Now!
Remember!
Astral Energy!
Say no more! Got it!
I'll heal well done!
Here I come!
Talon Hurricane!
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Here's a healing art! First aid!
Strike! Here!
Sweet dreams!
I'm on vacuum blade!
You fight better at a distance. The further away, the better. You and I both.
Holy Lance!
Try harder! First strike! Here I come!
Glimmer
Remember!
Astral Energy!
Say no more! I still got a ways to go!
Yeah?
I didn't know you had that sort of trick up your sleeve, Dohalim. I would have figured rocks and plants would be too different for you to handle both.
Not necessarily. Both of them contain Earth astral energy. Luckily for me, this area is rich not only in fire energy, but Earth as well.
What the hell is that thing?
Probably that monster Nath warned us about, if I had to guess.
Do you think this might have been where one of those lights that shot out of the wedge landed?
But why this location? If the purpose of the wedge is to harvest Dana's astral energy.
We can figure that out later. If that thing gets into town, it's going to cause chaos. We need to take it down and move on. Let's go! This one's... tough, but we have no choice.
Let me know if you need healing.
Here it comes! Focus!
On your toes, everyone!
Suddenly turning tail doesn't seem so ridiculous.
Why? Are you scared?
Me? Are you?
Do you even have to ask? Of course I'm scared!
Focus up before we become that thing's lunch.
It's summoning Zeugles?
Take care of them while keeping an eye on it!
It's over!
Lunar corruption! I never miss!
Here I come! Vacuum blaze! Lightning thrust! Soaring light spear! The flame inside me! Yours to be let free!
In here! Lightning! Downfall!
Armor won't save you!
Raging cascade!
Look, vacuum blaze!
Will this help?
I'm not done!
Look
there! Soaring light spear!
Can't get out of this!
Appreciate the help.
Be careful not to overdo it.
I'm sorry.
Water!
Lightning
Hear my
thrust!
call!
Anything in armor is all mine! Armor won't save you!
It looks like you got this one covered! Healing circle!
There!
What would I do without
Vacuum
magic?
blade!
Bam! Bang! Cross blade! Here!
How about this?
Mega ray!
Flaming meteor!
There!
Inferno crossing!
Megasonic
This
thrust!
one's mine!
Vacuum blade!
Arctic! Here's a healing!
Take this!
I owe you, Sion.
Healing is what my arts do best.
All mine can do is cause havoc and destruction.
This one keeps charging us!
That's what my shield's for. Get behind me!
It's so good! I'll leave it to you!
Annihilation! Lightning condemn!
Take this!
Fury!
Down!
Illuminate
You're
the
all
dark!
right.
Transform! Deliver! Holy land! Healing circle!
Right here! I got you!
There!
Here goes!
Vacuum blade!
Shattering
Piece it out!
Holy glimmer! Magna ray! Holy annihilation!
Look sharp!
Strike!
Is there no way out?
Guardian
Field! I'm
Take
ready
this!
to go!
Soaring light spear!
Lightning orb!
Armor won't save you!
Dance
Take
in the
this!
wind!
I owe you one.
Air thrust! Thanks for the healing.
Watch yourself, okay?
Yeah, you too. It's weakened.
This ends now! You're mine!
Waterfall!
Look sharp!
Megasonic
Now!
thrust! Remember!
Astral energy!
Say no more! Got it!
Well done.
Here I come!
This one's mine!
It is
Vacuum blade! Dazzle!
Where are you going?
Take this! Strike!
Lunar
Vacuum blade!
Steel force!
Going in!
No escape!
Annihilation! Annihilation! Annihilation!
Vacuum blade!
Smash to pieces! Magic is Am! Seal!
Here I come! Vacuum blade!
Inferno crossing! This one's mine!
Dazzle!
Lightning eruption! Let's go!
I can carve through
Astral
armor!
energy! Illuminate the dark!
Vacuum blade!
Lightning! There you go! Don't let up!
Here I come! Be still! Hurricane thrust!
Steering
Tear!
flame!
No escape!
I'm out of ammo! Wind astral energy!
On guard!
Here's a healing
Here I
orb!
come! Vacuum blade!
Steel force!
Dazzle! Soaring light spear!
Meteor!
Take this!
Shield!
There!
My head's spinning just watching you!
Radiant Blast! This one's mine!
Switch off! In a bind?
I'm out of ammo!
You're mine!
Flaming meteor!
Vacuum blades!
Back
You're
into the
mine!
Dance in the wind! Annihilation! Seal!
Lightning thrust!
Annihilation! This way!
You're mine!
Radiant
Vacuum blades! This isn't looking good.
Shattering pieces!
This one's mine!
Now I can let loose. Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Here, let me help. Oh, that's wind. Carve now! Inferno! Seal!
I'm not done!
Let's get you all tucked away! Burning strike!
Make it way!
Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
Here's a healing art!
Now or never.
Aid!
Here come more!
We'll just have to keep fighting.
Leave the enemy's arts to me!
No complaints here!
This one's mine!
Glacial Fire! Tiger Blade!
Reload! Now!
You're finished!
Xion!
Go for it!
Prepare to crumble! Think we overdid it?
Now!
Go time flat!
Not by a long shot.
Armor won't save you!
Lunar corruption!
You're mine! The flame inside me yearns to be let free!
Mega red! Not in your dreams!
I could do without this pain. Is this it? Stay away from my friend!
Here's a healing art! Let's go! First! Aid!
They're all
Now!
corrupted!
Light burst forth!
Radiant Genesis!
Guardian Field! I'm ready!
What was I thinking? Raging
Take
Cascade!
this! Beat this!
First aid!
I let my guard down.
Searing Flare! Reload! I'll bring you back from death to this! Resuscitation! Ready! Here's a healing art!
I have to train
Not
harder.
in your dreams!
Hurricane
Captain Swirl!
No escape!
It's showtime!
Hurricane
Strike! Thunderblade! Here's a healing art!
Here I come!
Piercing
Vacuum
roar!
blade!
Where are you going?
Blood assault!
It's
Flaming
on!
meteor!
Here, let me help.
Inferno crossing!
Take this!
Art Steel!
There!
Raging Storm!
I can carve through armor!
Do it!
Astral Energy!
Say no more!
Here's a healing
Now!
art!
Here I come!
Purge
Okay,
Malevolence!
here I go.
I'm gone!
Freeze Lancer!
This should do it!
Eat dirt!
Reinforcements incoming!
Not a problem!
You're mine! There!
Not in your dreams! Hold on to your art!
Vacuum
Here I
blade!
am! You going?
There!
Lightning Orb!
Crescent moon!
More
No
healing
escape!
world!
Shattering
Now!
pieces!
Xion!
Go for it!
Prepare to crumble!
Here's a healing
Now!
art! They're all
You're
coming
mine!
after me!
I'm coming, Manuel!
I'm not scared! I'm totally fine!
Save you!
Annihilation! Freeze Lancer! Dance in the
There!
wind!
Glacial fire!
This is coming handy!
Hurricane strike!
Going in! I'll heal you all!
Rinwell!
It's nothing! I'm alright!
Vacuum blades!
What
There!
would I purge Malevolence?
Where are you going?
Waterfall!
I'm not done!
Going in! Freeze Lancer!
Vacuum blade!
Dance in the wind! In here!
Hurricane strike!
I'll be saving this one!
Damn it! What the? No!
A new leaf on life!
Any more of this and I'll burn out. No further.
Confiscated!
Here I come!
Supernova!
There!
Breath of life.
Smash
Heal
you!
my weary companion.
Vacuum blade!
One at a time!
Cure!
Sorry, thrilling performance.
Want to put you out.
What are friends for if we can't depend on one another?
You're right. I'll bear that in mind.
Tornado drive!
Soaring light spear!
Grind you into
Ignite!
Lightning! Ready for the fray!
Here I come!
Blaze! Reload!
Heal! Now I can let loose.
Reflect on thy sin. They smite. Now it's my turn.
Here I come!
Begin! Elusive
You're
deity!
mine!
No dawn shall break
Be
this
still!
night!
Luna
Eagle
Mogo!
ray!
Soaring... Light spear!
Forgive me. This is my fault.
Here I come!
Illuminate the dark! Come forth!
Be still! Soaring light spear!
I see you. Ready and raring.
Vacuum
Hold
blade!
it together!
There!
Do or die!
No art of being interrupted.
More for the
You're
sacrifice!
mine!
Further.
Hit!
There!
Alright! It's
Vacuum
showtime!
blade!
Here goes!
I owe you.
Tempest! Wow! Here goes! One more! I'm alone! You're the hero!
You pay for that! You're mine! Dazzle!
I'll face you.
Soaring light and death!
Catapult.
Vacuum blade! We can do this!
Cliche, but appropriate.
I'm counting on
Prepare
you.
to be From beyond, from beyond, imbue this vanquished. Don't get carried away. This debt shall not be forgotten. I see you. From beyond, imbue this vanquished soul with love. I couldn't make it in time.
This one's tough, but we have no choice.
Let me know if you need healing.
Here it comes! Focus!
On your toes, everyone!
Suddenly turning tails doesn't seem so ridiculous.
Why? Are you scared?
Me? Are you?
Do you even have to ask? Of course I'm scared!
Focus up before we become that thing's lunch.
It's summoning Zoogles?
Take care of them while keeping an eye on it.
Dance in the wind! Sleep now.
Now you see what I can do!
Radiant Storm! Hey, what's
No
the
further!
time? By the power of
Radiant
water!
Slash!
Lightning!
Megasonic
Downfall!
Thrust!
Where are you going?
Radiant Slash! This one keeps
Illuminate
charging
the
us!
sky!
That's what my shield's for. Get behind me!
Done! I'll leave it to you! Burn in hell!
Water!
Captivity! Blow away!
Red!
Radiant Slash!
Raging Storm!
Here I come! Blow away!
Water! Hear my call!
The tempest engulfs you!
Amazing.
Blow away!
It's showtime!
Glacial Spear!
Air pressure!
I'll smash you!
My turn!
Freeze Lancer!
Reflect the
Oh, violent
They
guarding
smite
wind!
with blood. Take this!
Through
Blow
all
away!
crossblade! Lunar Crash in the
Radiant
wind!
Slash!
Gemini
Resonate with you!
Take this!
Raining Slash!
Will this help?
Try harder!
Illuminate the dark!
Air
Come
pressure!
The flame inside me! Yours to be let
I owe you,
free!
Sion.
Healing is what my arts do best.
Not today!
All mine can do is cause havoc and destruction.
Beyond do it!
Imbue this vanquished soul with life!
Raining
Resuscitation!
Slash!
Reload!
Lunar Rondo!
If it's in the sky, it's
I still
mine.
got some fight left in me.
Where are you going?
You're mine!
Another
Take
incantation
this!
ruined!
Hear my
Raining
call!
Slash! Blow away! Lightning Thrust!
Now you see what I can do!
Eagle Ray!
Freeze
Raining
Lancer!
Slash!
Charge
Blow
Malevolent!
away!
Blah, blah, blah.
Raining Slash!
Sleep now.
Breath of life!
Lord Megaphone!
Heal my wearied
Arch
companion!
Steel!
Cure! I'm
Raining
ready!
Slash! Law! Look sharp!
Lightning Tiger Blade!
The waters of creation!
Gemini!
Blah, blah, blah. Magic!
Blow away!
By the
Raining
power of water!
Slash!
Mega Ray!
Take this!
Take this!
Raining Slash!
Purge Malevolent!
Raining Slash!
Big Waterfall! Downfall! In here!
Here I come! Catapult!
Thunder Flame! There you go! Don't let up! Illuminate the town!
Okay, here I go. Blow away!
Demon Land!
Raining Slash!
Take this!
You're mine!
I'm out of
Raining
ammo!
Slash!
I'm all
Everlasting
stopped up!
darkness!
Here comes
Negative
Illuminate
shattering
Annihilation! Force! Holy Glimmer!
blood!
Lightning!
Blow
I'm
away!
ready! Holy Lance!
Raining Slash!
Here, let me help!
Lunar Rondo! Coming through! Ha! Melt! Scarlet Inferno!
Here's a
Take
healing
this!
arc! This one's mine!
Lewis
It looks like you got this one covered!
Raining Slash!
Hear me!
Soaring Light Spear!
Raging Cascade! Water! Hear my call!
Here I come!
Hear my magic is there! Here!
Slash!
Let's get you all
It's
tested!
over! Stop!
Water! Hear my call!
Strike!
Thunder!
Raining Slash!
Glacial Spear! Here's the illuminate system!
Take this!
Freeze Lancer! Holy Lance!
No escape!
I'm ready!
It's over! Astral Energy! Full throttle!
This one's all mine! There!
Here come more!
You'll just have to keep fighting. I shall ensure you survive this.
Don't mind if I do.
The enemy wields arts too.
You'll soon see about that.
I'll smash you!
Do it! Malevolent! Arc sealed!
Not a chance! Raining slash!
Resonate with the earth! Stalagmite!
Healing confiscated!
I'm nearly done for. Is this it? I couldn't make it in time.
Go! I'm over here! Get on in there with the others!
I'll bring you back from death to this.
Let's go!
I'll bring you back from death to this.
Thunderblade! Illuminate the sky! Ready!
Sure. Arts are being interrupted.
Confiscated!
Seismic rupture!
In a bind.
Here! More where that came from!
I never miss.
Benediction light.
Now!
Glacial speed.
Astral energy! Full throttle! Go!
A flawless victory.
Naturally!
Take this!
Reload! Purge malevolent!
Take this!
Take this! Lightning!
The armor won't save you with blackened blade.
I'm out of ammo this one! Will this help?
Forgive me. This is my fault.
I'm expert! Coming through! Sweet dreams! Not in your dreams! Photon blast! Alright, it's showtime! First seal!
Blew away!
This'll come in handy!
You're mine! Seismic rupture! Here I come! The flame inside
Do
is yours to be
Illuminate the
Get toasty.
burn strike!
Benediction light.
I can't hold on much longer! What would I do without you?
Reinforcements incoming. Not a problem.
Lightning condemned!
Where are you going?
Thunderblade! Illuminate the dark! Come forth! Holy
away!
Glimmer!
Take this.
Holy Lamp!
Raining slash! Blew away!
Now you see what I can do.
Hold on to your
Raining
art!
slash!
Here I come! Corruption!
Resonate with the earth.
Raining slash!
Lightning!
On your
In the earful!
Raining slash!
No more playing nice.
Here's the healing art! First aid! One at a time! Sleep
Here I
now!
come!
I'm gonna get on in there with the others!
This one's mine.
Raining slash! Try harder!
Malevolent!
Try harder!
Surge is through.
Gemini
Take
Ultra!
this! Raining slash!
Mega Ray!
Be still!
Supernova!
Hurricane thrust!
Reload! A banana!
Here I
Let's
come!
go!
Blackened blade.
Blew away!
Seal!
Anything in armor is all mine. I can carve the dog.
I owe you one.
Waters of
Thanks,
creation!
Shio.
Be careful not to overdo it.
I'm sorry. I'll do better.
Here I come!
In the sky, it's mine.
Steering aside!
This one's mine.
You're
Illuminate
mine!
the dark!
Raining slash!
Holy
let me
Glimmer!
Blew away!
No further.
Holy Lamp!
Strike!
First aid!
Instinct sharpened.
What and weak.
This is looking good.
Lightning Orb!
Will this help?
Here I come! Strike!
Healing circle.
This debt shall
Anything in armor is all mine. I can carve through walls.
Lightning condemned!
Blew away!
Illuminate the dark! Come forth!
Resist deity.
Mega Ray! Lightning!
Everlasting dark.
No escape!
Eagle rage.
You picked the wrong
Thunder
fight!
Shield! Let me help! Purge Malevolent!
Raining slash!
Dig
Blew
Waterfall!
away!
Seal!
Blind you with a shot.
Let's go! I'll cut the way!
In a bind.
Lightning condemned! I'll heal you all! Thunderblade! One more time!
You're mine!
Got it!
escape!
Healing
This one's mine!
Try harder!
This is some punishment.
Stay away from my friend!
Ready to bring back from depths of this! Illuminate the dark! Bring it back from
Ah!
Purge malevolence! Resuscitation!
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
I've healed myself.
Here's a Jolene! This one's got your name on it!
Ashes to ashes. A merry distraction.
There's still more to go!
All mine!
Not so smug now!
Soaring
You
Light
fight
Spear!
better at a distance. The further away, the better. You and I both.
Now you see what I can do!
I'll heal you all!
Raining
Here!
Looks like you came to my rescue again.
You need to be careful. With the blazing sword, and with my thorns.
Hold on to your arms! Here I come! Illuminate the dark! Come forth, holy land! I can do this all day! Now! Very well! Astral energy! Full throttle! Go! It's about to strike!
Look sharp, everyone!
It's time.
Everyone all right?
We won't We won't retreat, not yet!
Whatever you do, just please stay safe.
Healing circle! Thanks!
How are we supposed to take on something so big?
I'll handle it.
Alphen!
Just watch and learn! That's enough! Go back down!
Everyone okay?
Yeah, I think so.
That thing scared the pants off me.
It felt like it had a different aura than other Zeugles, didn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't like the one that Almadria sicked on us either.
Its elemental astral energy variance was out of this world. It was like fighting a lord.
I guess it's safe to assume that if it came out of the wedge, it must have played some part in helping harvest astral energy. But what?
Perhaps a living spirit vessel? It's plausible, given the location. Or it may be part of a new force dispatched to regain control of Dana.
If we assume that monster was one of the 4 beams of light, we must have prevented something from taking place here.
I'd like to think so, knowing how much grief it gave us. But at least with that out of the way, we can keep moving forward now. Let's go.
I must keep striving.
You can ease off yourself.
Pot calls the kettle black.
Good advice for all of us to be. Be honest.
Hey! Is that it over there?
I think the animals back at the ranch should be all grown up by now.
Did we...
Really? Just spend that much money?
I'm impressed how well balanced this thing is.
Did you remember something?
No, but I have seen this starship before. This is it. This is the ship I traveled in when I escaped from Lenegis.
Three centuries later, and it's no worse for wear. I'll take a look at the internals.
Damn! I'm amazed it still works at all after all this time.
The past meets the present. I really am from a different time and place.
Yeah, but you've got us now, Alphen.
Not only that, but you've helped out so many people, too.
Law's right. Rinwell too. You're one of us now. No more carrying the weight of history on your shoulders. You're a part of this world.
Right. Thanks, you guys.
How's it look?
It should fly. All internal systems seem to be operating. However, considering how long it's remained inactive, I suspect it will take some time before it's ready for takeoff.
How much time are we talking here?
Starship mechanics are not what I'd call my forte, so I'd rather not hazard a guess.
So we've just got to sit around here and wait? I'm terrible at waiting.
That's because you're a child. Oh, but how about we use this time to prepare and gather supplies for the trip?
Good idea. Who knows when we'll be back from Lenegis once we leave. We should prepare ourselves for every possible scenario before we go.
Let's try not to stay away too long. I'd hate for anything to happen to the place while we're gone.
Either we race ahead, or we take due precaution to ensure we have no regrets. I shall leave it up to you as to how we proceed, Alphen.
Works for me. I always love the sound of hammers banging away.
Hmm?
It's funny, isn't it?
What is?
All this. When we first started this thing, did you ever imagine we'd be going to Lenegis? After all, this is the sort of thing I was rebelling against when I ran away from home, right?
I'm sure Zephyr would be proud if he knew what his son was doing right now.
And a little shocked, too.
We're defying the order of things that have persisted for 300 years. Deep down, I knew our journey would lead to confronting Lenegis.
Yeah, you maybe, but you're a Renan. The rest of us can barely even picture what it means to leave Dana.
No offense to Shion and Dohalim, but it's worth remembering we're heading into enemy territory.
No offense taken, and this is no picnic for me either.
Remember, our aim is to ensure that both Lenegis and the Renan homeworld leave Dana alone for good. I don't think we'll be able to avoid a fight.
Is there no way we can talk them into leaving us alone?
The people of Lenegis?
Sure. I mean, we found a way to make it work with Shion and Dohalim, right? And it's not just us. If places like Menancia can do it, then why can't we?
Because there are still many of my kind who believe it was right and natural that Rena reigns over Dana. There are those on Lenegis who have never stepped foot on Dana. I doubt whether they'd even listen to Danans.
Look, none of us want to fight. But these are the same people who fired that wedge down on Dana. What happens next is on them.
Right. We're not going to sit back and wait for them to oppress us again.
Right.
Don't forget, there's also a good chance the Red Woman is somewhere on Lenegis. And wherever she is, we should find the Renaissalma, too.
That's right. If we can take it back, then Shion can finally get rid of her thorns. Shion?
Huh? Yeah.
Where? Shion? Where'd Shion go? How could she just go off on her own? Shion. Shion! It's your thorns? But why? You okay? Just now, it looked like you used your maiden powers to suppress your thorns. You can really do that?
Stay out of my way.
Wait a second. Are you planning to go alone?
Shut up!
Why would you do this?
I told you to shut up!
I won't let you.
I mean it.
I refuse to let you.
I won't tell you again. Move or I'll shoot.
If that's the case, then go ahead and shoot me!
Do you remember back when I was stabbed? By Volron?
Yeah. I thought for sure that he had killed you back there.
That wasn't the first time.
Huh?
The first time was when I was only a child. After that, no matter how often, I just couldn't die.
Couldn't die? So you're immortal? How's that even...
I believe you, Shion. But tell me how is something like that possible?
My thorns. They're me, but at the same time not. They're part of me. I have no idea why, but my thorns will never let me die. At least not before I'm meant to.
You can't die before your death?
When my thorns free themselves, it will be my death. I've seen it. A darkness that swallows up everything until nothing remains. It's a vision of oblivion I can't escape. I want to believe it's all just a bad dream. But no matter what I tell myself, I know it's not.
Yeah, but you... Wait. The whole reason you needed the Renaissance was to get rid of your thorns, right?
If I burn away what's inside, then what will happen to the rest of me? Right. Either way you look at it, I'm going to die. But if I am going to die, I figure I can at least take my thorns out with me. what I've been after this whole time.
That's why you turned your back on your fellow Renans and chose to fight with us, isn't it? And while we've all been fighting to keep on living, you have been with us fighting desperately to die.
That was the plan. But then I met all of you. And before I knew it, I didn't want to die anymore.
Shion, don't lose hope yet. We'll find a way to save you. There's still time to.
It's pointless.
Why?
Because the darkness won't just consume me. The truth is, it will consume all of existence as well. It was only a suspicion at first, but ever since the Red Woman triggered my maiden powers, I've been more certain than ever before. It was then that I finally came to realize my powers were holding my thorns in check the entire time. But they don't anymore. Not since Lenegis, when the wedge fell. Every day, I feel the thorn's power growing stronger inside of me. Pretty soon, I won't be able to hold them back anymore. And when that happens,
they will consume all existence.
And that's why you wanted to leave by yourself. You planned to find the Renis Alma on your own and sacrifice yourself to stop the thorns.
But that's too much. It's way too much.
When this all began, I didn't care what happened to me or anyone else. And what happened to the Renans or the Dahnans didn't matter to me at all. I know I have to die, but I don't want to. Not now that I have this. I wish we had never met. Then I wouldn't have to feel this way.
Shion!
Alphen?
Only living for the sake of dying is no better than being a slave. How can you endure this?
Alphen.
It's not fair. I don't care what anybody says. I won't let it happen! We can fight this! We'll fight until the end together. Isn't that what you said to me before?
Even if it should mean that it'll be the end of everything else, too?
Shion, what do you want? It's your decision, ultimately. But if you decide not to fight fate, I will. Even if I have to do it alone.
No, you won't be alone. I'll fight as well.
Count me in as well. I want to be a force for good, not hate.
And me too. I meant it with all of my heart when I told you before. Neither of you are alone in this at all.
You guys.
And I, for one, don't believe this venture is without hope.
Huh?
Shion is the descendant of a maiden from 300 years ago. Given the circumstances, it seems very likely that those events have some connection to her thorns. The true nature of which, I imagine we will discover as we make our way to Lenegis and uncover the truth of what's unfolding here.
I take it you mean we might find a way to get rid of her thorns and she'll live?
It's certainly possible. Though I suspect the nature of the Sovereign is connected somehow.
So be it. I've already lost everything I had once. And I won't let it happen again. Shion. No matter what happens from now on, we're right here with you. All of us are. You are not alone.
You guys. You're all so stubborn. Thank you, everyone. For right now, and a little while longer, I just want to hold on to this dream. And most of all, more than anything else, I want to be with all of you. So let's go. On to Lenegis.
The end of the world. It's hard to believe, isn't it?
I believe Shion is telling the truth. What about you?
As a friend, yes, I want to believe her. Everything that's happened seems to point towards some sort of great danger that's lurking ahead of us. Still, it's hard to fathom something that could usher outright doom to the world. That those really are the stakes we face.
No, I understand. Even Shion doesn't seem to know exactly what will happen to bring it all about.
We have so many pieces of the puzzle in our hands, so many clues, yet the complete picture eludes us.
So where do her thorns fit in then?
Well, I imagine they must sit at the very center of it all. You remember the voice we all heard while we were inside the wedge, don't you?
Yeah, I remember. It was the will of Dana's astral energy come to life. Well, that's what we all thought.
Right. And from that, we're able to hypothesize how vast concentrations of astral energy can become sentient. Let's return to when we found Shion in Pelegion. When her thorns went wild, they contained far more astral energy than any mere Renin would normally have inside them.
So you think those thorns might be alive too? That their will is what keeps her from dying? But why would they want to destroy the entire world?
As for that, I really cannot say for certain. Its goals still remain a mystery. It may be a mere fluke that her maiden powers have been able to contain it thus far.
You know, I've noticed since we've met that you like figuring out riddles.
Can you blame me? When one realizes that the world they once thought to be true is but a mere facade, they can't help but seek the truth. Especially when that deception has led to others getting hurt.
Dohalim?
I imagine the remaining pieces of the puzzle that we seek rest somewhere within Lenegis. As for what the final picture will look like, who can say? I think it's best we not dwell on it too much for the time being.
Right.
How you holding up?
Who, me?
Yes, you. You took a hit from those thorns again, didn't you?
Oh, that? That was nothing.
Compared to what Shion's going through, you mean? Still, even if you yourself might be willing to endure that kind of pain, that doesn't mean Shion wants to have to see you get hurt by her thorns, you know?
Yeah, I know. I'll be careful.
Shion doesn't know how lucky she is to have you around, you know? Dashing in to save her at the last minute.
Yeah, very funny.
I'm being serious. You went up and held her close like you still had that mask on, and you didn't even bat an eye. She really needed that. That's what I mean when I said you saved her. Just like you did with the rest of us.
I just want for Shion what we all have. The ability to touch someone without the fear of killing them. Those thorns have robbed her of the kind of everyday things we all take for granted. And it's not right.
You can say that again. It may be normal for us, but that doesn't make it any less special or important for her. I hope she gets what she wants. I have my own dreams, but a world without her, where she dies so we can all survive, isn't a world I want to live in.
Agreed. It's like more and more keeps getting taken from her, and I'm done with it. Can't sleep?
After everything we just heard? How could I?
Fair enough.
Shion's had to deal with so much on her own. Even when we were all laughing and celebrating, she just kept quiet and didn't say anything. I thought she was keeping her distance because of her thorns. That it was because she didn't want to hurt anybody by getting too close. I just figured that that was the type of person she was, you know? But it turned out to be none of that. All this time, she felt like she had to die and sacrifice herself for the greater good. But even then, she didn't think she could say anything to us about it.
I know.
She was so alone this entire time. How could I call her a friend and yet be so completely blind to everything she was going through?
I'm sure it made her happy, knowing you were there for her.
You really think so?
Yeah, I do. If she didn't think of us as friends, I don't think she could have ever opened up to us like that. You were a good friend to her before, and you'll be an even better one now.
Yeah, I really hope so. I want to be the best I can for her. When you think about it, we were all alone in our own way. But over time, we've all found ways to let each other into our lives. I hope Shion's able to do that one day too. No, I mean, I hope she's able to do that more. Lots and lots more. I think it'd be really nice if we could all just be there to support each other when it really counts. And forget about our grudges and pain.
Rinwell.
Did you know?
You mean about Shion?
Yeah, I didn't have the slightest idea. I mean, every once in a while I thought something seemed a little off, but I never could have imagined. It's like a completely different world was spinning around me and I couldn't even see it.
You and me both. I mean, I knew something was bothering her, but I could never quite figure out what it was.
You? But you're the one always looking out for her, aren't you?
That's what I thought. But in reality, I didn't understand it all. What I thought was helping and being there for her was actually just driving her into a corner.
At least you figured it out in time, though, right?
I don't think we're out of the woods yet. But yeah, you're right. We brought her back from the edge, and we're going to stop those thorns from taking her, no matter what.
Yeah, with all of us together, there's nothing we can't handle. Shion, the world, we can save everyone. And I mean it when I say we, Alphen.
I know. No lone wolfing it.
Hey, you're the expert on what my dad would say. Do you think he'd pat me on the back or tell me off?
Zephyr, I don't think that he'd have that much to say, to be honest. You're your own man now, Law. And you've already made up your own mind about what you want.
I guess he couldn't say anything even if he wanted to.
Law.
Sorry. I guess those of us amongst the living have enough problems to deal with, don't we? We'll need all our strength to save Shion. I'll probably end up worrying again at some point, but I guess I'll think it over more then. That okay?
Yeah, I think it is. Hey, you doing all right?
I seem to cause nothing but worry. As much as I try to look like I have things under control, everyone still worries about me.
You're not the only one.
Hey, do you remember the first time you said I was your friend?
No. When was that? Sorry, I can't remember.
That's okay. It came so naturally to you, I'm not surprised you forgot. I was different back then. The Dahnans were not even people to me, and I knew I would always be alone. But in that room with Deadheim, when you called me your friend, it just shattered the wall that I'd built up around me. Because until that moment, I'd only seen you as a means to an end. I thought of you as a way to use the Blazing Sword, and to obtain the Renis Alma. But after that day, one time became two, and before I knew it, you'd made a habit of calling me and Dohalim your friends. It didn't matter that we were Renans. You cared about us as you would any other people. Then, everyone else started to call me their friend too. To think of me as their friend. Before then, I never even dreamed I could have that. I didn't want to die and lose you all. But I also didn't want to live if it meant you would all die in my place.
Shion.
But then I realized I'd only really been thinking of myself that entire time. After saying how I felt, and hearing what you all had to say, I finally understood that. Don't worry, it's okay. I'm not planning on dying anymore. I've met too many people along the way who I truly care about to give in now. So I'll fight. For Dana and for myself. I'll fight against my fate to preserve our future. And I'll win, come hell or high water. I don't know how we're going to do it, but I won't let the world end because of me.
It's going to be a long, hard road ahead, Shionne. Our fight won't be over until everyone, both Dahnans and Renans, can finally live in peace. But I swear I'll be there with you, until the very end.
Thank you.
Remember what we learned back in Calaglia? There's no wall so high that we can't break it down.
Yeah, I think you may be right about that.
Everyone well rested? Then let's go. We depart for Lenegis.
Well, it's the moment of truth.
This lady better hold together once we're up in the air.
Law, don't say that! You're going to jinx us!
Speaking of which, Alphen, this bucket of bolts got a name?
A name? You know, I'm not sure she ever had one. I never really thought about it.
Well, after all the trouble we went through to find her, we should give her one, right? I was thinking something like...
Fall Knights.
Huh?
It means owl in the ancient tongue. Literally, the one drawn to the skies.
I like it. Sounds perfect for our little escapade.
Not sure I'm completely convinced, but... well, it's as good a name as any. From now on, she'll be known as the Fall Knights.
Okay, people. We have two goals. First, we need to get to Lenegis and make the Renans finally leave Dana alone. And then, we need to figure out the truth behind Shionne's thorns and find a way to save her. Sound good? All right, then let's go.
You know, I can still hardly believe it.
Believe what?
I mean, just look at it. The whole of existence, crammed inside a tiny frame.
Now that you mention it, I guess you're right. It does look more like a painting than a living, breathing world.
From up here, all the struggles we've been through feel so insignificant.
Nothing like realizing how small you are to put everything into perspective. Kinda makes the differences between the Renans and the Dahnans feel pretty small too, huh?
How much longer until we reach Lenegis?
There are better ways to use your time than napping. We should take a moment to familiarize ourselves with the facilities on board before arrival.
Good idea. The starship may end up serving as our base of operations once we're down there. Think you'll be all right with the controls?
You mean the one set to automatic pilot? I dare say I'll manage. I'm basically just here to supervise.
In that case, she's all yours.
Everything okay, Shionne? You seem a little different.
Different? Like in a bad way different?
No. Not at all. You seem more driven lately, like you found a zest for life. It suits you.
Is something wrong?
No. I was merely thinking how it had been 7 years, that's all.
You mean since you became a lord and left Lenegis? I guess even someone like you can get homesick, huh?
I am as prone to sentimentality as any other. Tell me, though. You too have a history with Lenegis. A traumatic one, no less. This trip will probably mean facing up to some difficult emotions. Doesn't that frighten you?
Well, it is a place where I took the lives of countless people. I'd be lying if I said I hadn't thought about it. But I can't keep running forever. The past is what it is. There's no changing that. But the future's what we make it.
I see.
Dohalim?
Forgive me. I was wrong to pry. We have more pressing matters to address. Come back and speak to me when you finish looking around the ship.
We'll be going to Lenegis soon.
This must feel like a homecoming of sorts to you, huh? What was life on Lenegis like back then? You know, before you came to Dahna.
Let's just say, I don't have many happy memories. I've had thorns my whole life, for as long as I can remember. They called it treatment, but in truth they were just using me as a guinea pig for their research.
You mean, they experimented on you?
That's right. All I was to them was a riddle to solve. They poked and prodded me, trying to figure out what triggered my thorns or changed the form they took. Day in and day out, every single day, one test after another. I'm still surprised they didn't try to dissect me. The look they gave me whenever one of them touched my skin. How could I forget it? Reeling from the pain, like I was a monster or something. Some existence, huh? A blight on any I touched, helplessly complicit in their pain. I thought things couldn't get any worse, but then they did. I started to have nightmares, visions of the coming apocalypse. Is it any wonder I lacked a cheery disposition? Unable to so much as touch another soul. Loneliness was my best friend. Sure, I survived, but with the knowledge that one day I'd be swallowed up by oblivion. And that's when it hit me. If I was going to die, then it should mean something. If I have to sacrifice myself to save the world, so be it.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you relive that.
No, it's fine. I'm in a much better place now.
You say it's your destiny to die so that others can live. But why not the other way around? Why shouldn't we be the ones dying to save you?
Are you crazy? Why would you sacrifice your life for...
That's exactly my point. Why should you have to give up your life just because you drew the short straw in the destiny stakes? How is that even right? It's that logic that's used to justify slavery, as if some of us were just meant to be sacrificed. This struggle was never about saving only ourselves. But that doesn't mean we have to give up our own lives to save everyone else's either. If we're doing this to protect people, if we're doing this to save the world from destruction, then that has to include saving each other as well.
A world free of sacrifice. That's what you've been fighting for all along, isn't it?
Not just me. We're in this together, remember? This fight is yours too, Xion. If we're going to win, everyone has to win. There can be no room for losers in this fight. How I see it, the true nature of our struggle.
A victory without losers. But that means that a Dahnan victory over Rena can't be the end. Do you think we can pull it off?
You bet we can pull it off. We have to. It's the only hope we have of things ever changing.
Yeah, you're right. No one's ever changed the future without aiming for the stars. We can do this. Together.
Hey, Alphen, listen to this! So Law and I were just talking and...
Hey, shut up!
What's got Law all flustered?
Only that he's afraid of flying, the big baby. And after all that fuss he made about naming the ship, too.
Hey, I never said I was scared. I just think it's, you know, a little unsettling how we're going to be cruising through space in a glorified tin can. That's all.
It's a starship, dummy. That's what it's supposed to do. I don't think there's anything strange about it.
Well, maybe you're the one with the problem then.
Guys. I'm no expert, but I think we can trust Renan technology. It got me to Dahna in one piece, remember?
Oh, that's a good point. If you think so, Alphen, it must be okay. Don't you agree, Law?
Hard to argue with that, seeing how you hitched a ride in one of these things before, Alphen. It's just wrong, okay?
You okay? Feeling airsick?
Actually, now that you mention it, not at all. These starships are a remarkably smooth ride, all things considered. Nothing like being at sea, thank goodness.
Glad to hear it. That device there caught your eye, huh?
I was just wondering what it is. It looks big enough to fit a person inside of it.
It's a healing pod. It fixes injuries and illnesses.
Oh, you don't say. Well, that should definitely come in handy if any of us get injured while we're down there. Alphen? Was it something I said?
No, I was just thinking back to when I escaped Lenegis, that's all. What with the ceremony and losing control, I was a total mess. Naori laid me inside here.
So, you're saying you got in this thing straight after escaping? But that mean... you were inside for 300 years?
Yes, it sounds crazy, I know. But don't even ask me why I stayed asleep all that time.
That's definitely quite some lie-in, all right. But still, whether you meant to or not, I sure am glad that it's this century that you finally woke up in.
What do you mean?
With the amount of fighting we've done, we would have never made it this far without you. And not only that, but... Alphen, can you recall back to what it is that I said to you? Back when we left Menancia? About the dream of coexistence, and needing to learn what it entailed?
Of course. That's why you came with us, right? To learn what you couldn't at home.
Even in that time, I was well aware that what I was living was a lie. But at the same time, I also felt really compelled to fulfill my brother's wishes. I'll always remember him fondly. But the coexistence we're fighting for isn't for him. It's for people now, and those still to come. The world's bigger than just Menancia. My dream is for all Dahnans, wherever they might be, to be free. If I've learned anything on this journey, it's that. And the one who brought me along was you, Alphen. I'll forever be grateful to you.
Well, we're not out of this forest just yet. You should probably save your thanks. At least, until we've dealt with the Red Woman.
I know. But whatever we find when we get down there, I'm through looking the other way.
Kisara.
Probably getting a little ahead of myself, huh? Let's take things one step at a time.
Is everyone about ready? We'll soon be making preparations to land.
Before we do that, just what exactly should we expect when we get down there?
Kisara has a point. Now that I think of it, I don't know the first thing about Lenegis.
I'd like to hear more too. It's been centuries since I was last there, and they didn't exactly give me the grand tour.
Very well. First and foremost, Lenegis was the base of operations in charge of the crown contest on Dahna. Of course, it also happens to be a city in its own right, complete with its own independent society. Its social structure is based on a strict hierarchy. Put simply, the strength of an individual's astral arts carries great weight.
Enough to determine someone's social rank, you mean? But astral arts are innate, right? So people's positions are fixed at birth.
They can be honed with the right training, and there are admittedly other factors at play. But yes, that's basically the gist. As a result, family lines that churn out lords and their contenders wield disproportionate influence, and those lineages are treated as nobility.
Those capable of only weak astral arts are effectively an underclass, denied the right to descend to Dahna even if they wanted to. Still, even the lowest rung on the Renin ladder is considered superior to being a Dahnan. Keep that in mind down there.
Thanks for the warning. As a lord, Dohalim must have been pretty high up in the pecking order, right? What about you, Shionne?
Come on, you've seen her skill with astral arts. You really need to ask?
Fair point.
On arts alone, you're right. I'd have been sitting pretty. But you're forgetting my thorns. They weren't exactly an invitation to high society.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's refreshing to be around someone who says what they're thinking. Life's less complicated that way.
Jeez, give backhanded compliments much?
Wait a second. Are you? He is! Lost blushing!
I am not!
Of course, separating people into castes based on something arbitrary like arts is discrimination at its worst. As if such simplistic criteria could ever be a measure of someone's worth.
So this Red Woman, are we expecting to find her on Lenegis?
I would wager so. Lenegis is too deeply involved in all this to discard the possibility. Chances are she's also connected to the Renis Alma being stolen from us in Pelegion.
If the Renis Alma is being used to exploit Dana, we need to take it back at all costs.
That Red Woman's got a lot to answer for. Just as well I've got a ton of questions.
We're about to land. The descent could be a little bumpy, so brace yourselves.
If there are clues about your thorns out there, Shion, we'll find them. There's no one here. I wasn't expecting a welcome mat, but still.
Lenegis's infrastructure is largely automated. Besides, people won't be expecting incoming traffic while the crown contest is still underway.
Do you think anyone realizes that we're here?
We may not have received a royal welcome, but I doubt our entrance went unnoticed. Don't let your guard down.
I really hope we don't have to fight anybody while we're here.
So now what? We've come all this way on a hunch that this Red Woman is here, right? And if we're lucky, the Renis Alma too. Any idea where we should start looking?
There is an area of the city that is accessible only to the Sovereigns, known as the Forbidden Zone. That seems as good a place as any for us to start.
Forbidden? What are they hiding?
I don't know, hence my desire to find out. Fortunately, we just so happen to have a Sovereign in our midst. In any case, changing the shape of a huge structure such as Lenegis would have required an immense source of power.
Then you think that source might have been the Renis Alma?
Precisely. Alphen said that he remembered the Renis Alma being used in the spirit channeling ceremony 3 centuries ago. Whatever the ceremony's purpose, if preparations are underway for it to be held once more, then the Renis Alma might be in the same place as last time, possibly together with the Red Woman. Hiding something of that worth in the residential quarters would only court trouble. In which case...
It stands to reason we should be looking somewhere normally out of bounds. Is that it?
Indeed.
But it's been over 300 years since I was made a Sovereign. You can't seriously think I'll be able to waltz right into the place after all this time.
There's only one way to find out. If there's even a chance you can get us in, I say we give it a shot.
Shion's right. Who knows? We might even find a clue to her thorns while we're at it.
All right. It's not like we're swimming in leads, so let's try to track down the Forbidden Zone. Beyond that... wall lies a city full of Renins. The capital city where Shion and Dohalim used to live, no less. Who knows what we'll find on the other side?
Thinking about what could be lurking out here is giving me the heebie-jeebies.
For such a loudmouth, you sure can be a worrywart at times.
Oh, I'm sorry. How stupid of me for wanting us to stay safe.
Would you two children stop squabbling? Or do you want everyone to know we're here?
So how many Renans actually live in this place?
I couldn't tell you exactly, though not as many as you might expect. Machines and Zeugles take care of most of the city's basic functions.
There's Zeugles out here too, huh? Sounds like we can't afford to let our guard down after all.
What in the world?
This being Renan territory, I was prepared for a lot of things to look different. But this is a bit more than I anticipated.
The very foundations of the city have shifted. What could have caused this?
When Lenegis changed shape, it must have had an effect on the interior too.
Maybe when they sent the wedge down to Dana?
But they wouldn't move around the places where people live. These are their homes, right?
I would think the citizens themselves didn't have much say in the matter. Either way, locating the Forbidden Zone just became that much trickier.
Dohalim? Is that you?
Avakir, I'm glad to see you're well.
So it is you! But why are you here? Shouldn't you be down on Dana participating in the crown contest? And these people!
So you haven't heard what happened on Dana, then?
Heard what?
Someone you know?
An old friend.
Hey, Dohalim, don't tell me you've started keeping company with...
They're with me. More importantly, what's happened here?
I'm really not sure. The city's foundations began to shift without warning, and now everything looks like this. We're all waiting for the Sovereign to tell us what's happening, but so far...
Avakir, listen to me. We're looking for the Forbidden Zone. Do you have any idea where we might find it?
The Forbidden Zone? What business could you possibly have there?
Trust me. The less you know, the better.
You're just the same as ever. I wish I could help, but what with the changed topography, I can barely locate my own home. Let alone the Forbidden Zone.
Very well. It looks like we'll have to find the way there ourselves.
Have you seen Faria yet?
No.
I see. Well, nothing much has changed with her. If anything, she's probably even more...
I can well imagine.
Why did you come back? You know it can only result in pain for you both.
I've no doubt of that.
You really are the same as ever. Fine, I understand. Just don't say I didn't warn you. And take care of yourself. Okay, Do?
So who's Faria?
Law?
If what Avakir said is true, it would seem the people of Lenegis are being kept in the dark about what's happening down on Dana.
They seem to be just as clueless about what's going on up here in their own world. Despite the fact that it's actually here that the Wedge originally came from.
We need more information. Let's talk to the citizens, see what we can find out.
While we're at it, we can ask them about the Red Woman, too.
And don't forget about finding the way to the Forbidden Zone either.
Let's leave the talking to Shion. We can't have a bunch of Danans poking their noses around.
Good idea. I think that's for the best.
I shall assist.
You sure?
Being a lord on Lenegis has its advantages.
Right. Then we'll leave it to you two. The Danans among us should probably keep our heads down.
What if people freak out?
I shall explain it away by saying I'm leading you.
What are we, dogs?
What could be so important? It's worth destroying people's livelihoods and homes in the process. It's just unbelievable. Uprooting an entire city as if it were mere building blocks. Someone's got an awful lot of questions to answer.
From how it looks, they must be siphoning off astral energy from Dana, and then sending it to Rena.
But why do all this? What for? Surely they can't be using all that energy for the crown contest.
Whatever their purpose, disrupting their siphoning process alone won't be sufficient. Not while we still don't know what their endgame is.
He's right. We need to stop this from happening ever again.
This Forbidden Zone might be where we find some answers, right? So what are we waiting for? Let's get moving!
You heard him. We don't have time to stop and chat. Let's move.
So, I've been wondering, do you think when Lenegis was built, it was even made with people living here in mind?
What do you mean?
Well, none of this happened by coincidence, right? They must have designed it to transform like this. But then, if they knew people were going to live here, you'd think they would have taken that into consideration, to avoid all this chaos.
Ordinarily, yes. You'd think so. Trust me, as far as we were concerned, Lenegis was our home, nothing more. No one knew about all this. It makes you wonder whether the city was just built on as an afterthought. But if so, to what exactly?
Sorry. That probably sounded weird, huh?
Not at all. Sometimes it takes an outsider's eye to help you notice what you've been missing all along. This place is a mystery, that's for sure. Something tells me we'll find answers where we're going, though.
Yeah, you're right, Shion. I'm sure we will.
Everything will be okay now.
I know the basics of healing arts, but my skills pale in comparison.
Oh, dear me. What an unspeakable mess this has all become. Just look at the state of our city. Even the Zeugles have stopped heeding our commands. Whatever did we do to deserve this?
You really have no clue what might have caused this?
Would that I have. Alas, there was no warning, no prior decree. His Highness must have deemed it unnecessary for us to know. We have no choice but to grin and bear it. But do my eyes deceive me? Could I really be standing in the presence of his lordship, Dohalim of the House Ilkaris? I believed he was on Dana.
Your eyes do not deceive you. It is I, one and the same. I have returned to fulfill a special duty, the details of which I cannot divulge.
As your lordship wishes. First Lenegis mutates beyond recognition, now this unexpected visit. The Sovereign's plans are inscrutable indeed. The Ilkaris house has produced a great many lords over the centuries. I shall be praying for your victory in the latest crown contest.
Your good wishes do me an honor.
Your lordship! Oh, what a great honor it is to finally meet you. I descended to Dana during the last crown contest also. Alas, when the contender I was backing failed to clinch the title, I returned. I witnessed the deaths of so many slaves.
Indeed.
Sorry to interrupt, but we're looking for a woman dressed all in red. Have you seen anyone of that description?
All red, eh? No, I can't say I remember anyone like that. I imagine she'd stand out somewhat, too.
Yeah. What about down on Dana during the crown contest? You didn't see anyone like that hanging around the lord you were serving?
What's with all these questions? I've never seen her, okay? Not recently or otherwise. Why do you want to find her anyway?
Never mind. Forget I asked. Sorry to take up your time. Is everything okay? You look a little lost.
Oh, yes. I can't seem to find my way home, is all. I was just about to make my umpteenth attempt at a new route.
I was hoping to head this way myself. The situation is a real pain, huh?
I suppose the Sovereign knows best. I daren't stay here too long, though. A lower caste can only linger around these parts for so long before I outstay my welcome. I was hoping to avoid it, but maybe I'll have to go that way after all.
You mean you know another way round?
Lord Dohalim Ilkaris! But how? Last I heard, you were in Dana competing in the crown contest.
Yes, strange, isn't it? If you know another route, we'd be grateful if you could tell us.
But of course. Please forgive me. There's a wall that sprung up ahead of here, with what looks to be an entrance in it. I thought maybe it was a passageway between the different quarters, but I've no way of knowing for sure.
It's worth investigating, at least. I shall go and assess the situation. In the meantime, wait for me here. If it looks safe, I'll come and let you know.
You'd really do that for me? A lord troubling himself for someone of my lowly status?
Our lot in life is of little consequence. We are both Renan, first and foremost.
Oh, why yes, my lord. Thank you.
Well, we've canvassed the city for information. What do you think?
No one has the faintest idea what's happened to the city after all. They haven't heard the news about the crown contest either.
You'd think that info would easily find its way up here. Has it always been like that?
Not to this extent, which would indicate that something's suppressing the truth, that Lenegis is under some kind of control.
Given everything that's happened to their city, the people here seem weirdly okay with it all.
Yeah, that one guy even said his Zoogle had stopped listening to him. If that's true, these people are in big trouble.
Everything that happens here is attributed to the Sovereign's will. It's the way people have been conditioned. Their belief runs deep. Nothing happens devoid of a reason. To them, it's all part of the Sovereign's grand plan.
The Sovereign's plan. There is one thing I'm still not sure about. Just who is this person ruling over Lenegis?
The Sovereign, of course. He rules from Rena while presiding over both Rena and Lenegis.
Without the lords or anyone in the middle doing his dirty work? Isn't Rena at least the same size as Dana? That's a pretty big dominion for one person to rule over. I would have thought ruling Lenegis alone would be difficult enough.
The points you make are valid, though I confess I'd never given it much thought before. Here, the Sovereign's total authority is as natural as night turning to day. Come to think of it, I know nothing of the nature of how Rena itself is. Shion, have you ever been... No, forgive me. Have you met or crossed paths with, or even heard of someone who's actually made a visit to the homeland?
No, I haven't.
Neither have I. In which case, I would imagine that... But no, surely not. Can it really be that no citizen of Lenegis has ever been there?
Oh, hold up, what are you getting at, Dohalim?
Assuming what I believe to be correct, it's possible that no one on Lenegis has ever laid eyes on the actual Renan homeworld itself. No one but the Sovereign, that is.
But what about trade and communication? There's got to be a flow back and forth, surely.
Not if the Sovereign is imposing his will on Lenegis single-handedly. It could be a one-way street.
But I thought you said that the Sovereign's all the way over on Rena. If that's the case, can he really rule directly over Lenegis from so far away? What if something were to happen to the city, like now?
I'm beginning to wonder what the nature of this Sovereign even is. Alphen said he was forced into the role, right? Just before the ceremony. But Sovereign is also the title given to the almighty Renan ruler. So which one is it?
Whoever wins the crown contest inherits the throne from his or her predecessor, before becoming ruler over all of Rena and Lenegis. Thereafter, that individual is known as the Sovereign. Though, it would appear that the current ruler has gone silent. As for how Volron factors into all this, at this point, I no longer know what to believe.
3 centuries ago, I became the Sovereign here on Lenegis. No, not just became, I was forced to. Me, a Dahnan. 300 years later, we cross paths with Volron, who also bears the Sovereign's crest. That's not the only thing we have in common. We both became Sovereign without winning the crown contest.
Do you think Volron was made Sovereign for the same reason? Because of that ceremony?
I can't say for sure, but it certainly sounds like it.
But that would mean that 2 Sovereigns would need to exist at any one time. One whose job it is to rule, and the other for ceremonial purposes. We never did see Volron's body back in Ganath Haros. Is a new ceremony underway with Volron at its center this time? Could that be what's causing all this strange activity here?
Wait a second. You don't think Volron and the Red Woman are working together, do you? The ceremony can't go forward without the Renis Alma. The same one that the Red Woman stole.
There's something else the ceremony needs. A maiden. And unless there's another one out there aside from me...
Questions, questions, and yet more questions. Ones that it seems will remain unanswered, until we can establish the Sovereign's identity.
If the Forbidden Zone really is off-limits to everyone but the Sovereign, that seems as good a place as any to start. For the sake of liberating Dana, too.
Then it's decided. That's where we need to go.
One of the citizens mentioned a passage that she thought might lead to another section of the city. It could point us in the right direction. Let's go find it! I didn't realize Renans oppressed their own kind, too.
And yet, weirdly, none of them seem to mind. Am I the only one who finds that strange?
It is the way things have always been, so no one thinks to question it. You have experience in that regard yourself, do you not?
Unquestioning acceptance of your own servitude. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Even so, the quality of life here seems much higher than any Danon city we visited. I used to think it was impossible to build an ideal society without wealth. But I suppose having it doesn't always mean people are treated fairly either.
More to the point, not a single citizen seems to have even heard of the Red Woman.
What if she's not here? What if it turns out we're looking in the wrong place entirely?
It's still too early to say anything for sure.
For all we know, she might be able to blend in, move around unnoticed. I say we hold off judgment until we've exhausted every avenue.
Tell me, Dohalim, has that skill of yours got a name?
And what skill would this be, pray tell?
You know, when you're talking to people around town. The way they suddenly become putty in your hands.
I'm afraid I don't quite follow.
I do. It's called friendly intimidation. Look imposing and speak in a deep, booming voice, and presto, you'll have people wrapped around your finger in no time.
I would never stoop to such scandalous tricks. Any feelings of intimidation are solely in the eye of the beholder.
So there is a knack to it! How do you learn it? Can anyone do it?
Now you've got me curious. Is there special training to master?
Let's see. An obsession with being elegant is a must. Oh, and it helps to be old-fashioned, too. Bonus points if you speak in a way no one can understand.
If you've a bone to pick with me, it'd be quicker to just come out and say it.
What? They look up to you, that's all. I'm just helping them along.
Hey! What's got into Alvin and Law all of a sudden?
I can barely understand a word they're saying. And what's with the weird poses? Was it something they ate?
I hope you're willing to take the blame for this one.
I wasn't expecting them to take me so seriously. I'll go and have a word with them.
With nobody left to run the show. I mean, there's sovereigns up on the Renan homeworld.
But Dohalim was a lord.
Only current acting lords have power.
Even if the other lords were still around.
I wonder what they'd think if they were impulsive. Now that I think of it.
Well, yeah, why to us Danans, they were just enemies we needed to overthrow.
I know. But seeing Renans in their own city, going about their day-to-day lives...
It feels strange to imagine...
Yeah.
If you're that curious about them, why not try every lord in their household? And luckily for us, the people here are unaware of the events on Dana.
Yes! Yes!
Balseph had it in him to care about someone other than himself? Really?
It's possible. A change in position can do much to alter one's perspective.
So even he might have had something he wanted to protect.
I guess she intended to spread it throughout all of Lenegis then.
Good thing the lines were down so she couldn't.
It almost sounded like she was praising them too.
Maybe there was more to the guy than at first glance.
I shall refrain from commenting.
What?
Ganabelt was so horrible to people, yet he was invested in helping Rena succeed. Doesn't that seem just a little inconsistent?
I'm perhaps biased in this matter, I admit. However, in my mind, while all lords vie to become the next sovereign, they're also meant to serve as guardians of all of Rena.
It seems like Ganabelt also had people he cared about until the very end.
So why couldn't he extend that to us Danans?
This area doesn't look as badly damaged as that other district we went through.
Indeed. The effects of Lenegis' transformation appear to be less pronounced here. Or, viewed another way, this area was simply luckier.
Pardon me.
I guess her willingness to stoop to any low came from a survival of the fittest worldview.
And some people here not only shared her belief, but championed it as morally right too.
That doesn't make it true. Too bad they couldn't see through her.
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Okay. Ah!
It seems like the people on Lenegis don't really know much about Volron either.
I remember being quite surprised when the Lord of Ganath Haros changed so abruptly.
Didn't you have any doubts that something suspicious was going on?
On the contrary. Remember, we Renans are raised to accept everything at face value.
When you think about it, the families of Renan lords must see them differently than the rest of us.
Yeah, despite the brutality they're known for.
They must have had a lot on their shoulders, carrying all the weight and responsibilities of Renan society.
Renans live in a world where strength and power determine their position in the social hierarchy, so they tend to grow up fiercely competitive. But their loyalty to their people is also strong. It's what brings them together against outside forces, and nothing exemplifies that more than the Lords.
That's what makes them the guardians of all of Rena, so to speak.
Right. It's the same reason Balsif hated my guts, and Ganabelt went after you. Because we're threats to Rena.
Guess that makes you an even bigger oddball than we thought.
So, Alphen, have you gained anything from all of this?
Yeah. I think it's made me realize that the Lords were all people, too. Balsif and the others, they all had their own circumstances to deal with as they went through life.
Yeah, but still, just because they had loved ones in their lives doesn't mean...
I know. What they did was horrible. I'm not trying to dispute that. But at the same time, they weren't incomprehensible monsters either. They were individuals, just like the rest of us. So I guess what I'm trying to say is...
You're saying that they weren't bad because they were Renans, or because they were terrible monsters. Even if they did terrible things, they were still just people.
Rinwell.
Am I wrong?
Not at all.
Being a Dahnan doesn't make you a good person. And being a Renan doesn't make you a bad one. I think that's something we've all seen.
Xion and Dohalim definitely make a good case for it.
And I'm going to keep doing my best to make sure I earn that trust. As a fellow human being above all else.
I wonder if we can use this.
There's something I just don't get.
What is it?
The crown contest itself has always gone ahead as planned, right? In which case, the current Sovereign of Rena should be whoever it was that won the previous contest.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, who was it then?
Hanfrikt Milgras, the former Lord of Cyslodia, if memory serves.
So then this Hanfrikt whatchamacallem, he's the current ruler of Rena?
The last I heard, yes. Though, admittedly, I haven't actually seen him since the end of the previous contest.
You're saying that ever since becoming Sovereign, he's never actually shown himself on Lenegis?
I guess over Holocom maybe, but not in the flesh. Same thing goes for the Sovereign that came before him.
Now that you mention it, I don't recall anyone ever visiting Lenegis from the Motherland, Sovereign or otherwise.
And that never struck you as a little bit odd?
When you live here, it's as if you're conditioned not to notice all these strange quirks and discrepancies. The question is then, by whom? And to what end?
A new Renis Alma is supposedly created to coincide with every crown contest, meaning each victor is awarded their very own. In other words, if that's true, there should be as many of the things out there as there have been contests.
True, but going on what we witnessed in Pelegion, it didn't look like the sort of thing that could be made to order. But if even the victor's speeches have been part of some grand deception, then where are they? Quite frankly, I'm not even sure what to believe anymore.
You and me both. Though we are Renin by blood, neither of us even knew that such a thing as a Dark Master Core existed, remember?
With any luck, the Forbidden Zone might give us some answers.
No use standing around here chatting about it then. Let's get a move on.
Doe?
Faria.
Faria? Isn't that the person that Avakir guy was...
But why are you here? Wait. Don't tell me you've given up on the crown contest and come crawling back home from Dana already. Nothing to say? Even though you were willing to kill Tarnigan to secure your position as Lord, you still... Kill?
I'm here to take care of something. If you wish to continue this conversation, I only ask that you wait until I'm finished.
Oh, of course. You always did prefer to take the coward's way out. Even after 7 years and living on that Dahnan rock, you haven't changed one bit. But let me tell you, I haven't changed either. Not a day's gone by the past 7 years that I haven't hated you.
If killing me will bring you peace, then so be it.
Dohalim, what the hell are you saying?
First, I have business to take care of. If it's vengeance you seek, I will grant you it. But you must wait. My sins are legion. Let me finish what I came to do. Then you have my word. I will let you do whatever brings you peace.
Sure, that's it. Run away like always. You don't even have the courage to die. No wonder you leave it to someone else. You're just a coward!
Dohalim.
I apologize that you had to witness that.
Is it true? What she said about you killing someone?
Each of us have our pasts. I am no exception.
Before, back in Menancia, you mentioned having taken a friend's life over the throne. Is that what she meant?
The mistakes I made there were not my first, and may not be my last. I will say no more.
Did you mean what you said? About letting her take your life if she wanted to?
She has more right to my life than anyone.
But you can't just...
Whatever happens, I have sworn to put an end to the crown contest, and to ensure continued coexistence in Menancia. I have no intention of expiring before I do so. There are far too many questions I still seek answers to. Besides, you have just as much reason to kill me as she does.
Dohalim!
Forgive me. Some things are best left unsaid.
Wow, this place is beautiful!
Yeah, it must be some sort of rest and leisure area for the locals.
You think? Man, these Renin sure know how to live it up, don't they?
Is something the matter, Dohalim?
Before I went down to Dana, my friends and I, we used to gather at this very spot and play music together. Avakir, Faria, and Tarnagin. That was a lifetime ago now.
Tarnagin. He was the one that Faria mentioned, right?
He was once my dearest, closest friend. As well as Faria's betrothed. Despite Faria's lower-class upbringing, she possesses a tremendous talent for music. Entranced by her playing, I helped her overcome her sense of inferiority and introduced her to Tarnagin and Avakir. It was a time of great joy. 4 people bound only by their love of music, with no care for social standing. Only the next song, the next melody.
A friendship based on mutual respect, and a society where everyone is a prisoner to their social class. You really are different, Dohalim.
I suppose it's natural you would see it as strange.
I would have, once. Now, I think the idea of breaking away from society's constraints and choosing your friends based solely on affection is something beautiful that's worth cherishing. Besides, it was that way of looking at the world that laid the foundations for coexistence in Menancia.
Your praise does me too great an honor. I was merely following the wishes of my own heart. And even then, it only lasted until the crown contest began. After that, Tarnagin and I became fierce competitors for the position of Lord. Tarnagin had fallen for Faria. By becoming Lord, he aimed to wrest her from her humble origins and raise her to the highest echelons of society. But fate was not so benevolent.
What happened?
Tarnagin was no match for me in combat. On a level playing field, he wouldn't have stood a chance. But he was desperate and low on options, and he couldn't stand the thought of defeat.
You mean he resorted to dirty tactics to try to win, right? But then why does Faria think... Wait, don't tell me she doesn't know.
How could I tell her? Combined with the trauma of losing her beloved, and by her friend's hand, no less. She would have been devastated.
So instead you let her go on hating you, so she could use that hate as a crutch for her grief?
That's not the same as running away, though.
It is exactly the same. Unable to face the loss of my friend and the burden of my duty, instead I decried my fate and looked away from what I'd done. As for what happened after, that you already know.
But if you hadn't become Lord, Menancia wouldn't be what it is now. The Danans there would still be suffering under Renin oppression like before.
Shion's right. What other lord would have treated me as you did? Anyone else and I would have been dead long ago. You've saved so many people, Dohalim. You saved me. It's thanks to you that I'm here today. So, try not to blame yourself. The burden you've placed on your own shoulders is too much for anyone to bear.
Frank as always. But I shall do my best to heed your advice.
Do you think he'll be all right?
Yeah, I think so. He's got Kisara.
It's important to have someone like that.
I didn't realize how difficult it is just to be there for someone.
Sometimes just knowing someone's on your side can be enough. And he knows, Xion. I promise he does.
I hope you're right. Alphen.